I stumbled across something that I thought was pretty. I don't know if like it's like a combination of funny and sad at the same time. KFC has a deal at some restaurants, I should say, some select locations where every Tuesday they have what's called 8 for 10, where you go and order and get 8 pieces of chicken for $10. And I've never been the biggest KFC fan, right? I like some of their stuff. I don't go out of my way to eat there with any regularity. But what I thought was interesting is that I have one which is relatively close by to me, um, and I've driven past there repeatedly. And I noticed that, on Monday, I barely see anybody getting anything. On Wednesday, I barely see anybody getting anything. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But on Tuesday, I go into the drive through and I have two cars behind me. I have two cars in front of me. As I'm getting out, I'm seeing someone else pulling in. And really, what I started to kind of pick up on is that a lot of customers only eat at KFC during that day where they can get the 8 for 10 deal slash combo. Um, and like, I think the idea of having customers who only eat at your place once a week is really humorous. Like I would never expect anyone to just eat somewhere every day, but the fact that like they always eat on that one specific day is amusing to me. But also it's kind of sad because a place like KFC will do a deal like that and call it a deal when in reality it's the only time that for a lot of people they're even selling something that you would want to buy. Oh man, 8 pieces of chicken for $10? Oh, that doesn't seem too bad. But it's really kind of sad when you think about it in the sense of in KFC's corporatized perspective or viewpoint, they think they're losing money by having a deal like that, which is why they only have it once a week, and that they would lose even more money if they had things priced lower. When in fact, if this stuff was always around that price, right? Because I had a relative who went over there and bought, I think it was like some meal where it's 2 pieces of chicken and some fries for like $10. It's total ripoff, right? And he even said that after getting it, and that his only reason for going there was because he was hungry, which I can certainly relate to. But it's sad to think that they have actually created a situation for themselves where on any given day of the week they can just expect to have maybe a handful of customers come in, but then on this one particular day they're actually going to have multiple people come because it's the one time that they're offering something that in the eyes of most is not viewed as a ripoff. um and man, it's like, people will talk about fast food prices like, oh, well, it's a luxury and you shouldn't expect them. But honestly, the fact that they can make it that cheap shows you that it is by choice to make stuff cost as much as it does. Like people, when I did my pricing yourself out of the market video, I didn't really talk about this, but I might even do a whole separate video about this, where there's always the question of, are people really bothered by the price of something or the value of what they feel they're getting for that price? Somebody will go out and, for example, buy a $100 or $200 pair of tennis shoes, right, and not feel like they're getting ripped off because they can wear these in some cases for years. And sure enough, I bought some shoes for like $50. So I'm saying that, is it really about the price or what they think they're getting? $10 just off the top, right? When you find out, oh wait, you're getting 8 pieces of chicken for this. This should surely last me a day or possibly 2 days worth of food. And a person who sees that will say, hey, this is not bad. But then when you say, okay, $10 for 2 pieces of chicken or 3 pieces of chicken, then you're like, oh yeah, this is a ripoff. But that's the point of like, is it really about the pricing of their things or the value of it? If they came out and said, hey, for $20 you can get 16 pieces of chicken, or hell, 17 or 18. If they did deals like that, or hell, just price their things like that normally, I could almost certainly guarantee that they would have an up spike in sales, because this is about, again, the price is too high and either the quality or the quantity is too low. When I go to the market and they have the deal where, for example, you can buy 4 bags of chips for $10. I said, well, hell, there's no way I'm going to eat 4 bags of chips in one day or even sometimes 2 days. So that's always to me a good deal because I know this is going to last me multiple days on average. But when you go and look at the prices of a lot of these fast food places where they're talking about, $12, $13 for a damn burger. And I went to this new place, Wings Ferno. I'm going to talk about them in a whole separate video. They wanted $14 for a burger by itself. I would absolutely see where people look at KFC's, special on Tuesday and think this is good. And I'm inclined to agree with them. That's why, like, when I talk about consumers, every position I espouse is like designed around what do I think is best for them, because I'm not sitting here running the business or trying to screw people out of money. But it's sad to know that, like, these types of occurrences really demonstrate the cost of things for a lot of stuff. Doesn't have to be the way that it is. And it's so disgusting when you look at the cost of food, how there's just an up spike over and over. And now, the few places that are kind of like trying to play ball, McDonald's, their little McValue menu where they shrink everything so damn tiny that you could buy 3 burgers and still be hungry after like 6 or 7 hours. When you look at that stuff, it really just tells you things don't have to be this way. And I'm glad that the customers, at the very least, they give in when they go and they buy the 8 for 10, whatever. I'm not against a company making money from giving people a deal that they think is fair. But those other days, it's like a ghost town. You can hear crickets in the background if you go and sit in the drive-thru of that place. And it's run like crap too. I remember one day I came up there, of course Tuesday, because I wouldn't eat there any other day of the week. And there was a guy who was like raging, and he was in the driveway. And I didn't, at first I thought maybe they said something to him, whatever. He told me that they ran out of chicken. And I put my hand over my mouth because I couldn't imagine a chicken restaurant, a place where the primary thing they sell is chicken, running out of their main ingredient. I mean, it's like going to a tennis shoe store. Oh, we don't have any Adidas or Nike. Like, just they're just out of shoes. They have none of them, just nothing there. I mean, it was insane. So I'm just saying, it's funny how even when the places are run like crap, they're bad at like restocking their materials, and that's happening with a lot of these fast food places. Customers will still put up with a lot of nonsense just to get something to eat. But the one thing that they're pretty adamant about is that there's only a certain amount of money they're willing to pay for a certain little bit of stuff. So I probably, we'll go back there on Tuesday for the one day where they're selling things at a price that's not, in the eyes of many, a complete ripoff. And it's just sad, people, they're just trying to survive. And this is where we talk about like the rotten society. It is really pathetic that all someone could want to do is just eat. Just they're hungry, they want to get something, to not starve to death. And they might be driving, they might be walking. Oh, look, here's this restaurant. Oh, you want a burger? That'll be $13. Oh, you want a soda? That'll be $3, which is what Wiener Schnitzel does. $3 for a fountain drink by itself, just absolute insanity. But that's stuff like that really pisses me off, because the one thing, in my opinion, that should always be affordable to people is food. A couple of pieces of chicken should not be $20 or $30 damn dollars. We're not having caviar. Fruits should not be going into the 10s or 15 or whatever amount of, absurd money. I mean, it's sad that, like, this is the thing that one of the things that people need to survive. People have to eat. They need to, replenish themselves. And I guess we can pick and choose what stuff we like to eat, but it's just sad that, like, the cost of food really is one of the most gross parts of, the rotten society, because it is something that people need and that they are getting price gouged either out of being able to get, like, for the most part, into to where like they're having to be really selective about what they choose to eat or whatever, or to the point where the few times places even look like they're making a little bit of sense in terms of their pricing, it's considered a deal.